TV2 Sports Live this afternoon at Pates Park, located in Allentown, Pennsylvania, for NCAA college softball this afternoon. It is the Mountain Hawks of Lehigh hosting the Wildcats of Villanova. Hello and welcome to Pates Park on a gorgeous afternoon for NCAA college softball. Mike Zambelli, I'll be joined by Jeff Toriel, who is the Sports Information Director at Lehigh University. And this is a non-league game, as I mentioned. And Jeff, a great opportunity for these great programs within their respective leagues to step out of league play and get a good test.
Well, that's right, Mike, and it's time during the midweek like this for these kinds of teams to get together. It's a nice regional matchup, strength throughout the region. Villanova, a perennial power in the Big East, and obviously Lehigh is very credible in the Patriot League, so it's nice to step out of league and kind of square off in the middle of the week to see where you stand before you get back in league play.
Wildcats come in here under the direction of 20th-year head coach Maria DiBernardi. She is in her 20th year, has 523 career wins. Jeff, they're off kind of a slow start. They had a championship kind of season last year, lost to Notre Dame in the conference championship, but just seems the little things are not falling their way right now.
Well, no, sometimes, Mike, it is the little things in a game like softball that'll make the biggest difference. And for a team like Villanova that's traditionally very strong within the Big East, it's a situation where, yeah, it's a little bit frustrating, but it's games like this against a good team like Lehigh where maybe they can get back on track.
For Fran Troyan's Mountain Hawks, they are right on schedule. They've won all 12 of their Patriot League games. They obviously lead the circuit there. They've stepped out of league and played a good non-league schedule. They are 26-6 overall, and conversely, they are doing things well. Their pitching sticks out. They're number 2 in the league in hitting. It is a well-balanced ball club.
Well, no doubt about that, Mike. Talent around the board for this Lehigh team, and you talk about the Mountain Hawks and their strength. They've played a heck of a schedule. They started off the season at the Leadoff Classic playing top 25 teams. They've played a couple of Big East teams already, so playing Villanova is nothing new, and they're excited about this challenge.
Of course, pitching is always the top on the priority list, and we have a great pitching matchup in game number 1 here. Emily Ling, she is the career leader with victories at Lehigh with 58 of them. She will be taking on the Wildcats. Shannon Williams, she of course guided nearby Emmaus High School to a state championship back in 2000. Should be a great afternoon of college softball. Stay with us. Jeff and I will be back to meet tonight's starters after this. Both teams have been introduced to the crowd here this afternoon. Villanova coming in at 24-16, 4-4 home record, 3-3 on the road. They are 2-4 in Big East competition. For the Mountain Hawks, 26-6 overall, 12-0 in the Patriot League, 8-0 home record. They are 4-2 on the road. Neutral sites 14-4. Villanova at neutral location 17-9. You look at Emily Ling and what a career she is having, what a career she has had. As I mentioned in the open, Jeff, the school's most prolific pitcher in softball. And boy, that's saying something when you talk about the great history at Lehigh University.
Well, Lehigh has had some terrific pitchers, Mike, over the years, especially during this extended run of success that the Mountain Hawks have had, and Emily Ling has really risen to the top of that list, and she's just had a stellar career. Lehigh's all-time leader in wins, all-time leader in strikeouts, and there's still so much time left to go in this season.
Well, here's what she will be facing here this afternoon to start the lineup for Villanova. Lisa Kruger will lead off and play center. Chrissy Yauch will bat second, play third base. Kerry Kohler, the first baseman, bats third. Cassie Koenig, the catcher, bats cleanup. Carolyn Brown, the right fielder, will bat fifth. Sherry Donnelly, the shortstop. Lindsey Martin will be out in left field. The designated player this afternoon is Lisa Curran, and Jackie Dempsey, the second baseman, will bat ninth. Of course, on the mound for them, and we'll see Shannon Williams when she comes out for her warm-up tosses. So Lisa Kruger will be first in to face Emily Ling, starting pitcher for the Mountain Hawks this afternoon. Lehigh leading the Patriot League, mentioned at 12-0, followed by Army at 9-3, Colgate 6-2, Holy Cross 3-9, Lafayette at 2-10, and Bucknell currently at 0-8. And now we've got a little measurement going on.
Yeah, how about that? They're not sure that the rubber is the right distance from the plate, Mike, and they're just squaring that away before they get going.
Now, who would have the feel for that, I want to know? Emily Ling have that kind of feel being out there on the mound, I would imagine.
Absolutely. Something didn't feel right. She didn't even throw a pitch during those warm-ups before calling pitching coach Stephanie Howell out there, and home plate umpire Luau Bowers went out as well, and finally they straightened things out, and I guess she'll be good to go in a moment.
Well, Jim Adams and his staff here at Pates Park do a terrific job with this field. I would have been very surprised to not find that rubber at the right location. So Ling will go through her warm-ups, and Jeff, these young ladies really have to be excited at where they're at. It was interesting. We had an opportunity, and you see Fran Troy, and obviously a lot more than I do, but it was interesting. He said, we're where we need to be, but he's trying to, take a little of the pressure off the young ladies, and having won 6 straight regular season championships, the defending league tournament champs, there has to be some pressure mounting. He's trying to get it back to being fun and let them enjoy themselves a little bit.
Well, absolutely, and part of having fun is winning games, and Lehigh certainly tackled that aspect, but as you said, there's certainly pressure that goes along with that, winning Patriot League game after Patriot League game. Lehigh's won 31 games in a row, Mike, against league opponents, dating back to last season, and obviously there come expectations and pressure along with that, and, for the other teams gunning for Lehigh, you want to be the team to beat them, and Lehigh's 3 for 3 in Patriot League series this year. As you said, they're 12-0, but they still got 2 more, and this weekend on the road at Colgate. But before they get there, they got a tough Villanova team today.
Well, and we talked about Villanova in the Open as well, and you also have to factor in their strength of schedule. Obviously playing in the Big East #1, where Notre Dame was the preseason pick, followed by Providence, and then Villanova. They play a tough league schedule, one in which they're going to get into the meat of coming up, but their non-league schedule second to none nationwide. Our first pitch of the ball game, we're underway, is wide for ball 1. Luau Bowers will call balls and strikes, with Bob Scott manning the base pads here this afternoon. Ling fires, swing and a miss, strike 1.
And Ling, as you'll see this afternoon, Mike, likes to work very quickly, so don't expect a lot of time between pitches.
Well, that's anybody who has not gotten out to even the high school softball games. They move. They get up there and they fire. Late on the swing and punched foul. 1-2 the count to leadoff batter Lisa Kruger.
Kruger hitting .270 early on, and she's kind of decent on base percentage as well at .343 entering today. So Lehigh suspecting maybe with her speed she'll try and lay one down, although obviously now with 2 strikes in the count, the likelihood of that decreases a lot.
The 41st game of the season for the Wildcats. Kruger playing in all of them, making a start in every game except one. 1-2 pitch, misses wide. Count even at 2-2. Just tuning in here on a beautiful sunny afternoon. We're live at Pates Park in Allentown. Mike Zambelli, Jeff Turiel. NCAA college softball. Villanova in their visiting blue tops, white bottoms, and Lehigh in their all-white home uniforms trimmed in brown. Swing and a little cut roller to the first baseman, and Hanley over there defensively for the Mountain Hawks unassisted for out number 1.
Well, Taryn Hanley came to Lehigh, and first place is first base, I should say, is a new position, but as you're going to see here, plays it perfectly, takes a couple of steps to her right, and then jogs back over the bag and takes it for the easy 3 unassisted.
Brings up Chrissy Youch, the starting third baseman for the Wildcats. She'll bat from the left side. Youch, a .212 hitter. Swings and may have gotten a piece of that one for strike 1. Mountain Hawk infield really playing in tight all the way around. Everybody inside the baselines. I'm anticipating some kind of a swinging bunt kind of action here. Maybe even laying one down. Pinching in at third is Cleaward. Youch lays off, takes ball 1 high. 1-1 the count, 1 down.
Yeah, you mentioned how in the infield is. Look how shallow the outfield is as well. Kate Marvel, the center fielder, is almost on the dirt.
swinging bunt, if you will. Got a piece of it. 1-2 the count. Wildcats come into this one with a .237 batting average.
Take a look at that, and as you said, Yauch just gets a piece of that one.
They have hit 17 home runs this year, scored 119 runs, 51 extra base hits for the Wildcats in their previous 40 games. Yauch, a nice job to lay off that pitch out of the strike zone, count even at 2-2. Off-speed pitch just missed. Count full to Yauch.
Ling doesn't walk very many batters, which obviously is no surprise. Uses a nice change of pace to keep hitters off balance at the plate.
5 times already this year, including last week, Ling has been named the Patriot League's Pitcher of the Week.
And if she's even anywhere near her game here this afternoon, you'll see exactly why as we go through the course of the afternoon. She is just phenomenal in the pitcher's circle.
From Binghamton, New York, she's a sociology and social psychology major. 3-2. Off-speed pitch hits softly to short. Martin up with the throw across the diamonds for out number 2.
Tough play for Martin because the ball took a little while to get to her, and Yauch runs pretty well. And Mendy Martin did not have a lot of time to get the ball out of her glove and make the throw, as you see here, but the quick release point and guns it across in time to Hanley with a nice stretch for out number 2.
Kerry Kohler steps in, starting first baseman for the Wildcats. First pitch from Ling. This is low and away. Struggling a bit with her control right now. Kohler's struggling at the plate a little bit this year for the Wildcats, a 194 hitter. She is playing in her 38th game of the season, making her 37th start. Swings and misses, and the count even at 1-1.
And there's that change of speeds that Ling offers. She put a little something extra on that, and Kohler didn't have a chance. Her bat was way behind, and that evens the count for Ling.
Pitch low, count at 2-1.
Talk about Ling and her control. She's only walked 19 batters, Mike, and she's pitched now 95-plus innings on the season. That's fairly good control.
She is the school's all-time leading strikeout leader with 554 of them coming in, and there is a clean single to left for Kerry Kohler. A 2-out base runner, and as I mentioned, Kohler struggling a bit, a 194 hitter. And we've got our first hit of the game. Solid hit to left.
Well, Kohler was patient that time and waited on the ball, but got the bat around pretty quickly and was able to pull it into left for the 2-out single, her first hit of the game.
That brings up number 18, Cassie Koenig, the catcher for the Wildcats. Koenig, a 240 hitter. Fouled back for strike 1. 2 down, 1 on.
With a pitcher like Ling that normally has excellent control, your best bet is to go up there swinging right away. And she certainly did that, taking a cut at the first pitch and was able to foul it off.
Same results, 0-2 the count to Koenig. Allie Wisniewski waits on deck, a very dangerous hitter, tied for the league lead in the Big East in home runs with 6.
Have her batting in the 5th spot. Lehigh doesn't want to see her with runners on.
Ling misses, 1-2 the count. Villanova head coach Di Bernardi, the winningest in school history with 523 victories. Both head coaches very well established. Ling just missing inside. 2-2.
Yeah, that one didn't miss by very much. But relatively speaking, Ling has thrown a lot of pitches here in the first inning.
Working the corners or edges of the plate here against Ling, Keening, and Keening got around on that one, but pulled it foul.
So you have the right idea here with this swing. With a pitcher as quality as Ling, you almost have to guess before she releases the ball. And as you can tell by the way she pulled it down the left field line, a little bit out in front.
Well, and Jeff, while we talk about both these outstanding starting pitchers here, that for these two programs with the caliber of talent that they have sought out and gone after and played this year, they're not a surprise. They run into these pitchers quite frequently, believe it or not. Hit on the ground, takes a high hop. Martin stays with it nicely to get the lead runner.
That was a terrific play by Martin, staying with the high hop, and Jess Young cutting over to the bag and making a nice play to get that fielder's choice. Again, Martin, realizing she didn't have a lot of time, stays right with that hop as you see, and look at that toss. Leads Young perfectly, who steps on the bag to retire the side.
So one hit for the Wildcats in their first at-bat. No runs. And Shannon Williams will go to a very familiar circle in her career. Of course, as we mentioned, at Emmaus High School, was a state champion, a two-time winner of the District 11 tournament, back-to-back years, her junior and senior year. And it was interesting in talking with Coach DiBernardi on the way in. She was asking Shannon if she knew, a way to get there. Shannon didn't know how to get here. Of course, you're on a bus and someone else is bringing you, and your mind is on the game.
So you probably had the Walkman on.
A terrific young lady, and of course our viewers around the Lehigh Valley watching this ball game live on Service Electric Cable Television. Boy, she was fantastic, wearing the green and gold of Emmaus High School, and has had the same kind of a career with Villanova. She is closing in and amongst the school leaders in a number of categories, including wins and strikeouts. So she's had a great career. Her 13-7 record, 13 representing the second most in Big East this year. She's got a 1.50 ERA, making her 24th appearance this season and her 21st start. She will face Kate Marvel, Catherine Weggert, and Taryn Hanley, the 1-2-3 hitters for Lehigh. Marvel, a chopper that's going to get over Williams' head, and they'll have no play. So Marvel will lead off single here for the Mountain Hawks.
And Kate Marvel just uses that speed, Mike, and once the ball's hit really past the pitcher circle, you can tell right about here, there's no chance of throwing her out, whether you field it cleanly or not. Marvel is one of the fastest players you'll see, and got down the line in such a hurry.
Patriot League's leading hitter now has her 36th base hit of the year. So one on now for Catherine Weggert. Weggert, the starting right fielder. And the first pitch is strike one.
We'll get a look at Marvel at first base. Stolen 8 bases, tops on the team.
Marvel holds it first. Weggert takes another strike, so she's behind in the count now, 0-2. Team's leader with a .394 batting average. Battling her way back from a thumb injury.
Yeah, her left thumb is very heavily taped. And just really getting back in the Lehigh lineup within the last week.
Behind in the count, 1-2. Wildcats still in close at the corners, and now retreat a little bit. They appeal and say no. Weggert able to hold back, and the count even at 2-2. Two from Shannon Williams. And the count full at 3-2.
Good at bat by Weggert, Mike, after being down in the count 0-2 a moment ago. Now she's battled back and has a full count.
Marvel holding it first, and Williams gets her first strikeout of the game. It is a big one here for the first out of inning number 1.
Well, it was a good at-bat for Weggert to battle back and get the full count here, but Weggert can't connect on the payoff pitch from Williams.
It'll bring up Taryn Hanley, starting first baseman for Lehigh. Takes ball 1. Kelly Cleaver, the Lehigh captains, on deck hitter.
Mountain Hawks have juggled their lineup a little bit. It's only the second game in which Hanley is batted in the 3rd spot. The other time came on Sunday in a win over Holy Cross.
Takes called strike, evens the count at 1-1.
It's a long way from Washington to Lehigh.
She is in her freshman year, Arts and Sciences major, and the reigning Rookie of the Week. Mountain Hawks have dominated those weekly honors in the Patriot League,
whether
it be Rookie of the Week or Player of the Week or Pitcher of the Week. Williams, the 1-2. Swing and a miss, her second strikeout. So after giving up a leadoff single, Williams has settled in to get Weggert and Hanley on strikes.
We'll take a look at this final strike to Hanley again. Williams just fooling the Lehigh hitters early on, and the Mountain Hawks, maybe it's, second time through the lineup, they can make some adjustments. But Williams looking sharp early on. And now Cleaver out in front of the first offering.
They appealed to Bob Scott, who says, yes, indeed, she did offer. Clear, a senior from Whittier, California, a marketing major in her senior year. One from Williams, misses wide. Mary Weeder, the catcher for Lehigh, waits on deck if Cleaver is able to get on board. Foul tipped 1-2 to Kelly Cleaver.
One of the Lehigh captains is Cleaver. As you said, from Southern California, no surprise, her favorite team is the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim.
Third on the team with a .357 average. And takes called strike 3. So Shannon Williams gives up a leadoff single and then strikes out the side. We've played 1, no score. As a head coach here at Lehigh University, Fran Troyen is able to accumulate now 303 wins, 8 regular season championships, including the last 6, 3 tournament titles, and 2 NCAA appearances where they have had success. They've won in the NCAA tournament, so they know that it is doable, and this is a team that, obviously, we talked about expectations, Jeff, and, pressure, if you will, but this is a team that certainly has the ability to, not just win the Patriot League this year, but be a factor if things would go their way in the NCAA tournament.
Well, that's right, Mike.
Here is Ali Wisniewski leading off the bottom of the second in a clean single to right center. for the Big East's home run leader. She has a half dozen of them on the year and opens the second with a single.
Wisniewski not wasting any time with Ling, as we've seen the Wildcats' propensity to go after pitches early in the count. She gets on and pulls it into right center for the leadoff single. But you mentioned Fran Troyan and obviously the impressive resume he's put together here in his time at Lehigh. Well, the Mountain Hawks were the first Patriot League team to win an NCAA tournament game, and they did that in 2001.
Donnelly out in front of this one, lofts it high into the air to left field. Looks like there's room for Schenbach, and there is. Had to reach back in foul territory to record the out.
Well, Whitney Schenbach, a sophomore from Parker, Colorado, a terrific play. It's not easy playing in a place that you're not too familiar with. This is only the second time this year Lehigh has played here, and Schenbach, battling the sun, comes over and makes the play.
Brings up the left fielder, Lindsey Martin. Wisniewski remains on at first. 2 hits already for Villanova. Of course, key to this game, a lot of time, more often than not, is when you know, if you can bunch 2 or 3 hits together, you'll see some sporadic ones, but when you get 2 pitchers the caliber of we have here this afternoon, right, a run is big.
Whatever it takes to get that run, because as you said, Mike, it very well could be the only one we're going to see.
That's right. 0-1 the count to Lindsey Martin. Ling missing high. Wisniewski diving back into first. Pretty healthy lead over there.
Lehigh's infielders at the corners are in pretty shallow. Look at the third baseman, Kelly Cleaver, even with the pitcher's rubber.
And this pitch by Ling, barely off the ground. That's going to be a wild pitch, allowing Wisniewski to move on to second.
Well, we said scratch out a run any way you can, and the Wildcats got a solid single to start the inning, and now 1 out later, a runner in scoring position.
Martin facing a 2-1 count. Shows bunt, pulls back in time. Ling continuing to struggle, trying to move the ball around the plate, but not really hitting her target so far early in this game. A couple times now she is, well, she's not quite full here, but at 3-1, a couple times she has run a 3-ball count to a hitter. Now she's full at 3-2.
Well, that was one that Martin maybe wanted to have back, a late swing, and was able to just get a piece of it and foul it over off the screen above the Lehigh bench.
Martin, while batting .269 on the season, yet to have an RBI. She doesn't have any extra base hits. All of her hits, all 14 of them this year, singles. Big opportunity for her here. Hits a roller back to Ling, and no play on at first. So Wisniewski able to move to third. Martin aboard with a single, and 1 down with runners on the corners for Lisa Curran.
Well, as you said, sort of a swinging bunt there, and Ling quickly out of the circle to field that ball, but Martin got down the line in a hurry and is able to beat the throw. Now the Wildcats with runners at the corners.
Ling couldn't have done much more there.
No.
Curran is the designated player for the Cats and has a great opportunity to put Villanova out to an early lead. And Ling over the catcher. Weeder, the play at the plate, and they'll get him. That's a break for Lehigh. That's not a good decision. The Wildcats on the bases. That's a break for the Mountain Hawks.
Well, absolutely. It was a situation where I was very surprised to see Wisniewski break for the plate. Look how quickly Weeder gets to that ball. Made a perfect toss to Ling, and Ling blocking the plate. Wisniewski couldn't even get to it. And then Ling tries to make a throw down to second, although Martin did move up, but now there are 2 outs.
Martin on up to second, and Curran ahead in the count 1-0.
That could be huge later in this game, Mike.
1-1 the count to Lisa Curran. Jackie Dempsey, the second baseman, waits on deck now with 2 down. Should Curran have any kind of success. Curran, a .216 hitter on the year. She has driven in 3. Well, things with softball too, Jeff, and obviously, you know, baseball, softball, but this everything happens so quickly in this sport, especially on the college level. You know, the bases are in tight, home plate is, or the pitcher's mound is pretty close. This one lofted up in the air. Weeder, a tough try. I'm not sure if she got it. She did. What a courageous effort by Mary Weeder on the foul out.
Well, Mary Weeder, somebody who's played some games here at Patriots Park in her day, but still a period of adjustment. You get a great look at this from the center field camera. Weeder comes over, battles the fence, knows exactly where she is, and makes a catch to retire the side. So Villanova doesn't get any runs after all, after a promising start.
You get 2 hits in an inning. You would hope that they would produce some kind of, he had 2 hits and a wild pitch in that inning and did not score a run. So that's definitely a little bit of a break, I would say, for Lehigh. For the Mountain Hawks here in the bottom of the second, it'll be Mary Weeder, Jessica Young, and Whitney Schenbeck. And more on the Emmaus Green Hornet connection here. Of course, Mary Weeder and Shannon Williams were teammates for the Green Hornets the year they won that state championship. Weeder, who is now a catcher and finished her career as a catcher at Emmaus, the championship year when they won the state finals, Weeder was actually the starting left fielder. That was Williams' junior year. So these two were the battery mates, pitcher and catcher for Emmaus when Williams was a senior and Mary Weeder was a junior. So they'll match up here on a gorgeous afternoon. That's just a pretty picture.
It's tough to beat a day like this time of year, Mike. Around here, you and I both know we could be getting buckets of rain or even some snow.
It's great to be out of the office, isn't it?
Don't tell.
So Weeder, Young, and Schenbeck here in the bottom of the second of a scoreless softball game. Williams, to her former Green Hornet teammate, misses ball 1. They have faced each other. Villanova came into the Lehigh Valley last year, played a doubleheader. Those games were played at Lehigh. So this is not a rarity for these two, who remain friends, obviously, till this day. Weeder takes a called strike on the outside corner, evening the count at 1-1.
Weeder's had another excellent season. Of course, last year she was the Patriot League Tournament MVP in helping the Mountain Hawks win that tournament title and move on to the NCAAs.
Slaps this one and looking and got pretty much of it. Fair or foul, it is a foul ball. Weeder driving it pretty hard down the left field line, but it cut a little bit away from that foul line. Not much of a breeze to talk about, but I guess if there is one, it is working right to left across your screen.
Well, Weeder was able to drive it the other way, showing that power, as you see Martin in pursuit down the line, but that one just got out of play.
She got a lot more of that one when I had originally thought when it left her bat.
I think it carried pretty well.
Off-speed pitch. 2-2 the count.
The Mountain Hawks not used to hitting a lot of home runs. Of course, they play their home games at Kaufman Field in Bethlehem on Lehigh's campus, and that is a very, very big park, and it's tough to hit homers. In fact, last year, Lehigh hit just 5 as a team the entire season. They've hit 7 already this year, so a step up in that respect.
2 of them in one game. I believe I saw a grand slam on Sports Scene Highlights one night, didn't I?
I saw it.
There's the Lehigh Valley Sports Scene in the Lehigh Valley on Service Electric Cable Television, weeknights at 6 and 9:30.
We got to get home and catch it tonight, the late one.
Oh, we'll be in time for that. This softball, unless we see a lot of extra innings here.
I hope so.
One never knows. Weeder gets around on this one and tugs it foul out of play down the right field line. Count remains 2-2.
Weeder, a terrific defensive catcher for the Mountain Hawks, and has done a great job at the plate as well. Lehigh happy to have her for another full season after this. Of course, we still got a long way to go here.
And she's going to win this battle between the 2 Green Hornets. A clean single up the middle for Mary Weeder.
And a good start to the bottom of the second for the Mountain Hawks. We saw Nova get a leadoff single in the top of the inning, Mike, and they couldn't take advantage. We'll see if Lehigh can make Villanova pay for its mistake here as the Mountain Hawks have the leadoff runner on.
Weeder, a second-team All-Patriot League performer in 2004. That'll bring up Jessica Young. Young, a graduate of Southern Lehigh High School. Turns the bunt and gets it down the first base line. They go to second with success. Heads-up play by Kohler at first as she is able to get the lead runner.
Well, that's not easy to do. That's a gamble because obviously if you don't make a perfect play, then the opposing team has 2 runners on. But she did execute it perfectly, did Kohler, with a great throw. And now Young becomes the Lehigh runner at first.
Whitney Schenbeck steps in. with now one down, and the runner on at first, Jessica Young. Schenbeck, a sophomore from Parker, Colorado. Over the last 10 games, she's batting a hefty .632.
She's got an 8-game hitting streak entering today. That's the longest on the Lehigh team.
Not bad for your number 7 hitter.
Not at all.
Takes a ball out of the strike zone.
Lehigh head coach Fran Troyan's done an excellent job of recruiting nationally. Schenbeck, one of a couple of Mountain Hawks from the state of Colorado. And of course, you got California mixed in as well. Schenbeck from just south of Denver.
Well, we see that with football, basketball. Lehigh programs do a great job of attracting student athletes from all across the United States. Foul backing out of play, count even at 2-2. Whitney Schenbeck with Lauren Haney, designated player, waiting on deck.
Haney from California. So how about that? To lead off the inning, you got 2 from your backyard. Then you go Colorado and California. And then Indiana.
The 2-2 from Williams. And they're going to get Williams with a balk here. I don't know if her spikes got tangled up or what happened there.
Well, I think we're going to see it here, Mike. As she goes into her motion, there you go. Just kind of lost it and said, oh, I better hang on to that ball. And thus the balk was called. So now Lehigh, it wasn't a wild pitch like we saw on the top of the inning, but here it's a balk that gets the runner into scoring position.
So a single to Weeder. Weeder erased on the force out. Young then on at first is now down at second via the walk, and Schenbeck with an opportunity to get the Mountain Hawks on the board here first in this one. We're in the bottom of the second. First of 2 this afternoon. If you're watching this one live in the afternoon, we will be back after Sports Scene tonight at 10 o'clock with coverage of game number 2. And Schenbeck goes after one out of the strike zone, and Shannon Williams has her 4th strikeout of the game.
Well, that's one way to get out of trouble. You have a runner in scoring position, 1 out, and you need a big play, and you go for the rise ball here, and Schenbeck chases upstairs and just can't come up with it.
Well, Williams obviously leading the Big East in strikeouts, has always had that as part of her pitching arsenal. Always that ability that when teams did maybe get to her, she always a terrific rise ball that, just fooled a lot of batters and overpowering at times. And that has been a staple of her career. So 2 down now. And Lauren Haney, the designated player. Lofted into the air, left side of the infield, and underneath it for the 3rd out is Youch. So the Mountain Hawks get 1 hit. They leave 1. We've played 2 full. Still no score. Villanova under head coach Maria Bernardi over the last 6 years has won 236 wins. That is an average of 39 per season. As we mentioned last year, moved on to the Big East Championship game, losing to Notre Dame in the finals. She is the winningest softball coach in the history of Villanova, in the sport at the history of Villanova. She is a past president of the Big East Softball Conference, serving for 4 years from 1997 to 2000, a graduate of Brandywine Hospital Immaculata College. She has a bachelor's degree in nursing.
39 wins a year. That's not a bad effort.
That's not bad at all, is it?
That's job security, I would think.
Ooh, that's awesome stuff. Leading off the top of the third here is Jackie Dempsey. Swinging bunt for strike number 1. Well, so both teams have put the ball in play. That's what all coaches talk about originally, just to get, some aluminum on it, get it in play, make their defense make plays.
That's right. So many times when you have power pitchers who strike out a lot, it's easy for the defenders to kind of get out of rhythm because they're not seeing a lot of action. And with somebody like Emily Ling, the ball doesn't get to the outfield very often, so it's a challenge to stay focused on occasion.
You're absolutely right about that, and especially right now if you're Cleaver or Hanley, your third and first baseman, they are really pinching in tight at the corners.
Oh, we'll see that from Cleaver at third a lot, where she'll be even with the rubber or inside of it.
And just enough of this one over that drawn in infield for a single for Jackie Dempsey.
If Martin were at regular depth, she may have had a chance at that ball, although I don't know that she would have been able to throw out Dempsey at that point anyway. A little flare, and Martin has to backpedal and just can't get there, and Kate Marvel charging in on it.
That is the 19th hit of the year for Dempsey. There's a 207 hitter. All of them have been singles, so that'll bring up the top of the order, and we'll see how Villanova looks to do it now with Lisa Kruger stepping in. Kruger grounded out to to first base unassisted back in the first inning. Turns the bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1.
And Taryn Hanley, the Lehigh first baseman, charging in to field that bunt. So the second baseman, Jessica Young, is responsible for coming over to take the first base bag. Got over there in a hurry, and Mary Weeder popped up to make a throw, as you saw, but she decided to hold on to the ball. Those are kinds of things they work on in practice all the time. More than just taking cuts in the batting cage.
Situational baseball. The good teams are successful. This one fouled, and the count even at 1-1. And, of course, for maybe you folks that do not watch a lot of softball, your base runners need to stay on the bag. So you can't take a, 3-4 yard lead in here. So it is very difficult to advance runners in bunting situations. Obviously very difficult to steal bases. Dempsey on at first. This one lofted in the air, will stay in the infield. Hanley settles in underneath it in fair territory for out number 1.
It was a good play by Hanley as well, again battling the skies and some unfamiliar surroundings and the like, but was able to stay with it and make that play.
That's a good pitch by Ling as well. That riser in softball is really, I guess the equivalent to, your darting fastball in baseball. That's a good pitch, and that's a good job when you get a player to pop it up in the air like that.
Patriots Park, the dimensions here, a little more cozy than Lehigh's used to at its own Kaufman Field, so you got to be careful on a rise ball. You don't want to put it in their wheelhouse so they can smack it over that shortened fence.
Better get some speed on it.
That's one thing Ling can do a great job of, there's no doubt.
Well, but much like we talked about Shannon Williams, Ling, the same kind of a pitcher, has that ability to rear back, locates the ball very well, and seems to have gotten her control. Snap throw down to first, gets away from Hanley, but not far enough to advance the runner.
Well, that was a pitch right there, Mike, as if she was listening to you. She just reared back and not a chance for Yauch to connect. She took the pitch outside for a ball, but there was something extra on that.
Well, we mentioned how much closer the mound is, too, in softball. And that thing's humming when it comes in there. Count 0-1 to Chrissy Yauch. Yauch grounded out to short back in the first inning. Still no score. We're in the top of the third. We've had base runners. Each team with opportunities, but nobody able to cash in. Time called, no pitch. '58 career wins. And I think to a lot of people that, don't play the sport, that might be a number. Anybody who's around this sport realizes, I mean, that's not the conclusion of 4 years. We still have a ways to go in her career. Plus Lehigh, a program where they come up with good pitchers, and I don't know that, and Weeder over to make another great play, runner alertly tagging and making her way down to second, but that's a heck of a play by Weeder again.
Oh, Mary Weeder again playing it perfectly with the fence nearby, stuck the glove up and made the basket catch high above her head, and then was able to throw down the second, not in time, as you said, Dempsey alertly taking second base. But look at this angle. That's a tough play for Mary Weeder, and she stays right with it.
Probably, I don't want to say easier play, but when you look at that mitt that Weeder's wearing in softball, obviously with the size of that ball, it's quite a bit different than a baseball catcher's mitt. This is more like a first baseman's glove almost, where there is, you know, a lot of room in there to make that kind of a play.
A very difficult play at that, but she made it with ease. And again, now Villanova with a runner in scoring position, but there are 2 outs in the inning.
And Kohler, who had a single her last plate appearance, one of their 3 hits in this game, one of their 4 hits in the game. Two and 0 the count to Kohler. And this one low in the dirt gets away from Weeder, and she hasn't found it around third, and they'll score the first run on a wild pitch. Heads-up base running by Jackie Dempsey, who scores all the way from second.
Yeah, I was just about to say, Mike, it's not too often, if ever, that you see someone able to score from second base on a wild pitch. But watch Mary Weeder. She can't find it. She can't find it. Now Ling pointing. It's over there, and Weeder in pursuit. But by that time, Dempsey had come all the way around from second base to score the game's first run.
An unearned run for the Wildcats as they break out on top 1-0. Jackie Dempsey scoring from second. And again, back to what we were talking about in a previous inning, how fast things happen in this sport. I mean, that's really a rarity to see that in baseball. That was really heads-up base running by Dempsey to realize that, you know, that's how quick things go sometimes, and she took advantage of it.
Yeah, think about how split second of a decision that was for Dempsey to round third and say, you know what, I'm going to try and score. And she did it without a throw.
And now the count 3-0. This one chopped foul and out of play. 3-1 the count to Kerry Kohler. Well, Ling has struggled with her control throughout this game. I know, Jeff, you have gotten an opportunity to see her pitch a little bit. You know, she has run some counts to 3 balls to previous batters, has a couple of wild pitches in the game as well. She pays for it here in the third. Paints the outside quarter, a swinging miss, count full now at 3-2.
But with that expression or lack of expression on her face, you'd never know that maybe things weren't going her way, and she comes right back on a 3-1 pitch with a nasty one. And that was one to count full 3-2.
Misses wide, her first free pass issued in the game.
Well, we came into this one, Mike, expecting to see a great pitcher's performance from both of these teams and not a lot of walks. And here we are in the third inning. That's our first one. And I'd venture to guess we won't see but 1 or 2 more, if that, here in this game. 2
pitchers that do not normally hurt themselves by issuing free passes. So Kohler is a 2-out base runner for the cleanup hitter, Cassie Koenig. Koenig, excuse me. K-O-E-N-I-G. Koenig. First pitch from Ling is hit pretty solidly to straightaway center. Marvel in position to make the play. Wildcats get 1 run on 1 base hit. They leave 1. And through 2.5, they lead it now by a count of 1-0. The current standings in the Big East: Notre Dame is currently 4-0. They do it by a point system. Seton Hall actually at 6-2 has 12 points. Notre Dame at 4-0, 8, along with Syracuse at a 4-2 record. Of course, Courtney Mosch, another local player from Nazareth High School, is part of that Syracuse rotation.
Yeah,
As a matter of fact, you saw her pitcher. One of the Lehigh losses this year was to Syracuse.
We saw her pitch here at Pates Park against the Mountain Hawks. Syracuse won that game 6-1. She was terrific.
I have to ask you, we got, you emailed us, you let us know for our sports scene that this was all going to take place. That was a last-minute get-together, and had to be hectic for you guys.
The Syracuse game was a situation, if I recall, this was about 2 weeks ago now, where Lehigh had a game scheduled at Penn, but because of heavy rains in the area, Penn's field was not going to be ready to play, so that game was canceled, and Syracuse had all kinds of cancellations. They hadn't played in almost 2 weeks, so Fran Troyan got out his Rolodex and was looking up numbers of coaches and was able to connect with the Orange and get that game scheduled probably at about 4 o'clock on Tuesday. That game was set for 6 o'clock Wednesday night here at Patriots Park because Lehigh's Kaufman Field wasn't ready to go yet either.
Dial a game, huh?
That's absolutely right. But again, always a great opportunity to get a local product to pitch in front of her home folks. She had a terrific turnout here, and for Lehigh to play against a Big East team, the caliber of Syracuse, it was a good experience for everybody.
Mendy Martin, the number 9 hitter, then the top of the order for Lehigh, Kate Marvel, Catherine Weggert, with the Mountain Hawks now down 1-0. And you make a good point, Jeff. Fran Troyan, very aware of the local connection to players here. The first thing he said to me this afternoon, he says, what a nice opportunity for Shannon Williams this afternoon. So he obviously, the head coach of Lehigh, does a good job in recruiting some of these local players, but also aware of their careers as they branch out and go to other universities and colleges.
Well, by having people the likes of Shannon Williams get to come play at home, obviously some added coverage in the local media here, and that's good for the game.
Sure. And high school softball here in the Lehigh Valley, I know there are a lot of folks that are proud of it, and justifiably so. There's a number of talented individuals who have played through the local high schools here are doing a great job. We're seeing a good number of them here this afternoon playing at a high level of college softball.
Well, yeah, for as many talented student athletes to go on to the collegiate level as is the case for softball here in the Lehigh Valley on the high school level, obviously there's got to be some terrific talent, and we're seeing that.
Mendy Martin offers, that is the 5th strikeout now for Shannon Williams. And we go to the top of the order, Kate Marvel. She singled to lead off the Lehigh first, but was stranded on first after Williams rebounded to strike out the side.
Well, it's interesting. We'll see if Lehigh makes any adjustments now, Mike, the second time through the order, now that they've all gotten a look at Williams this season, or this afternoon.
And there's a chop at it, lofted softly into the air. Yauch in perfect position for out number 2.
Well, Marvel listed at 5'1", doesn't have a very big strike zone, and it's so fast, it's really tough to get her out, but they got her to hit the ball in the air, and that's one way to get her. Yauch was right there to make the play.
Catherine Weggert now with 2 down, nobody on for the Mountain Hawks. Hit on the ground, Williams got leather on it, and they'll get no chance. Tough play for Shannon Williams, and they should rule that one a hit, I would think. I guess I'm with one of the official scores, aren't I?
Yeah, that's a hit.
Okay.
Well, that was a tough play, too. I mean, Weggert, with her blazing speed, as soon as it gets over Williams right here, there's no way you're throwing her out. And look how quickly she gets down the line. And Weggert has an infield hit. That is the third hit of the game for Lehigh, second one that's come in the infield.
Dempsey did a nice job at second base there to get over there, try and make a play out of it. Brings up the number 3 hitter, Hanley, lofts it foul, and a tough effort there by Kohler.
Well, that was a tough play for Kohler. Kohler up against the wedge of that fence there, but a good effort. Obviously would have gotten the Wildcats out of the inning had she been able to make the play.
And I'm sure deceiving for her over there as well. They have a kind of a fence there in front of the dugout, and then there's an opening, that area she was at, actually a yard or 2 back behind that. So tough to judge for a visiting player.
Well, it's something you're not used to seeing.
Hanley hits it on the ground to short. Donnelly, the throw across the diamond for out. Number 3, Mountain Hawks leave 1. They get 1 base hit. And we've played 3 full. Villanova 1, Lehigh nothing. Wisniewski, Donnelly, and Martin as we move to the top of the fourth. 1-4-0 for Villanova, 0-3-0 for Lehigh. 7-inning games, regulation, so Mountain Hawks need to continue to play well in the outfield and find a way to get to Shannon Williams, something they have not been able to do so far. 1-0 Wildcats.
That's no easy task, as we've seen in the early innings today.
Wisniewski has had an active afternoon. She's solid single back in the second. She advanced to second on a wild pitch and then was caught trying to score on a wild pitch. One of their 4 hits in the game. And a very dangerous hitter, has long ball capabilities. 17 home runs for Villanova. I would think that's as a team, that's a big number.
Yeah, that's quite a few. That was a rocket shot.
Clean single to right. Wisniewski is 2 for 2. And that'll bring up Sherry Donnelly.
Well, you'll get another look at it here. This is the 3rd consecutive inning, Mike, as Wisniewski singles to start the frame, that the Wildcats have had their leadoff runner aboard. 3 singles to start, single to start each of the last 3 innings.
Well, I take that back. That's not such a big number. Providence leads the Big East. They have 26 home runs. St. John's has 21. 19 for Syracuse, so that's kind of a middle-of-the-pack number in the Big East.
Well, it's a lot compared to what we're used to. They're going to get a pinch runner at first base for Villanova.
Here's number 17, Greta Holmgren. Now Wisniewski will probably stay in the game. This is a courtesy runner. You are allowed to do that 1 time per game for each player in the lineup. So Wisniewski with the single leading off the inning gave his way to Greta Holmgren, but Wisniewski, I'm sure, will be out there going back to right field when they return on the defensive end. But then that will be the last time they can use that with Wisniewski.
Correct, but Holmgren could do it again for somebody else.
Okay, the bunt is down. Ling off the mound, low throw, not in time. Actually got away from Martin. I don't know if it would have been in time to begin with.
That was going to be a close play either way. As you'll see on the bunt, Hanley fields and spins, has probably more time than she thought in the low throw, and thus on the throwing error, Villanova with runners at first and second.
Number 1, left fielder, Lindsay Martin.
So nobody on, 2 out now for Lindsay Martin. She had a single in the second. Turns the bunt, pulls back, takes ball 1.
Lehigh has turned 12 double plays defensively this season compared to 2 for Villanova. So it's a situation where obviously a double play would be quite helpful for the Mountain Hawks here.
I make a mistake there? Did I say 2 on, nobody out? And that one will get away as Ling, a wild pitch once again. That's her 4th of this game.
Well, that's very uncharacteristic. Some control problems for Ling there, and that moves the runners up, so that takes away at least the traditional double play option. This is the first real major scoring threat the Wildcats have had today. 2 in scoring position and nobody out.
Martin steps in from the left side. Squares the bunt, pulled back in time. And the count 3-0. And the wild pitches and the deep counts, Jeff. Ling just has had a rough time this afternoon with her control, locating her spots, or hitting her spots, I should say.
Junior Cato Rico warming up down the left field line for Lehigh. Another stellar pitcher. This long, long line of pitching success.
Called strike on the outside corner. Good offering that there by Ling. Martin's job here to put it in play there and put the pressure on the Lehigh defense.
Kelly Cleaver at third base could just about shake hands with her.
Swing and a miss. Count full at 3-2.
Ling trying to battle back. Strikeout would be huge here for the Mountain Hawks if Ling can get one.
I'm sure that's what she's thinking as well. The 3-2 hit on the ground to third. And a nice play there by Cleaver, who held the runner, looked him back, and decided to just hang on. So the bases are now full.
Well, on a 3-2 pitch, obviously, if it were ball four, she would have walked. So Cleaver figuring worst case, they're going to have the bases loaded, and now you set up a force anyway. Good decision by the Lehigh senior.
And the bases loaded up for Lisa Curran.
Number 19.
Of course, Holmgren, the pinch runner now at third.
Lisa Curran.
Curran, a freshman from Las Vegas. A little bit different climate from Las Vegas to Villanova. Take some getting used to, probably.
I would think. Solid hit, but pulled foul. One strike to count to Lisa Curran. Emily Ling in some trouble. Wildcats have loaded him up. One base hit. That last one a fielder's choice, I guess, huh?
Yep.
Quickly out in front 0-2 is Emily Ling. Needs to make some quality pitches right now. Down 1-0, still nobody out here in the top of the fourth. Sharply hit, and a clean single will score at least run. They'll hold the runner at third as Lisa Curran picks up an RBI single.
Well, it was a big hit by Curran there, Mike, and she did a great job of just driving that one out into center field, and really, no doubt, you're going to get another. Look at that great swing, and just goes with the pitch and laces it to center for a hit, and the Wildcats have a 2-0 lead. A wise decision to hold the runner because you still got the bases loaded and nobody out.
Fourth RBI of the year for Lisa Curran.
We're going to get a pinch hitter here.
Now batting for Villanova, a senior from Miami, Florida.
Veronica Alvarez, number 8.
Alvarez.
So Villanova really trying to go for the jugular here with nobody out. Bringing up the pinch hitter.
Alvarez, a .241 hitter, has had success. She has played in 32 games this year, making 18 starts. Has an RBI, 14 base hits on the year, 13 of them singles, one of them a double. So a big opportunity for her with the Wildcats already up 2-0. Still no outs here in the top of the fourth. Ling again struggling with her location.
Ling from the Binghamton, New York area, about 2 hours north here of the Lehigh Valley, and about an hour further north of her is Hamilton, New York, where Colgate is, and that's where Lehigh plays next. Of course, a Patriot League opponent.
Interesting on the schedule. How do they'll play 4 at Holy Cross. They'll play 2 on a Friday and 2 on a Saturday.
They'll play 2 Saturday, 2 Sunday.
I'm sorry, Saturday and Sunday.
Right.
And that's the way the whole regular season
Right.
goes. When you play one with a school, you stay there and you play 4.
Exactly. And they only play league games on the weekend, except for weather situations where you had last week. Lafayette came to Lehigh in the middle of the week to make up games because of the wet weather. But generally this weekend, you know, this past weekend, Holy Cross at Lehigh for 4. This coming weekend, Lehigh at Colgate for 4. The week following, Army will be at Lehigh for 4, and it's tough. You know?
It can be tough, and this one hit on the ground to the left side. We'll pick that up in a moment. Throw across the diamond. Mountain Hawks finally get an out here in this inning, but Donnelly scores. Alvarez is out 5-3. Will pick up an RBI. Moving up on the play, Martin now at third and Curran into second. with 1 down, and the top of the order now coming up in Lisa Kruger.
16.
Well, this was a good play by Kelly Cleaver, realizing she's not going to have a chance at home plate, just comes across, uses her momentum, makes a good throw, throws a little bit high, and Hanley with a nice stretch to make the play. So now there's 1 out, but the infield's got to stay in because you got 2 in scoring position in the top of the order.
Back to that scheduling, Jeff, the other thing, too, that I noticed, and correct me if I'm not right with this, if you play, say, Army up there, they don't come here to Lehigh to play 4 at home. That's your 4 regular season games here as Kruger flies out to second base.
That's correct, and it's a class time and a scheduling issue. You have 5 weekends to get your 5 league series in, and so it's every other year. Last year Lehigh was at Army, so this year Army's at Lehigh. Now obviously you could meet them in the tournament, but the way the Mountain Hawks are playing the tournament's going to be at Lehigh, so Army might be coming right back the following weekend for some more games.
Army picked second, I believe, preseason behind Lehigh. And that's where they stand right now with the Mountain Hawks at 12-0 in league play. Army's at 9-3. Villanova, meanwhile, here, a big inning, have put up 3 and still have 2 more big runs in scoring position. Chrissy Yauch is in. She is 0 for 2, grounded out to short in the first and fouled out to Weeder, who made a terrific play back by the fence back in the 3rd inning. Weeder over there, they keep that one in front. It's been a tough afternoon for Mary Weeder, who I'm sure usually is not accustomed to seeing Emily Ling struggle with her control the way she has this afternoon.
Well, as you said, she's made a couple of nice defensive plays as well.
Up in the air and coming in, and a nice job by Martin of taking control at shortstop, and more damage.
2 runners left on base.
Wildcats leave 2. They score 2 more on 2 base hits. And 3-0 lead in this sport is awful big as we move to the middle of the 4th. Nova 3-8-0, Lehigh 0-3-0. As Fran Troyan meets with his Mountain Hawks. They will have due up Kelly Cleaver, Mary Weeder, and Jessica Young. Fran Troyan is assisted by Kim Miller, a 1996 Lehigh University graduate, part of 4 straight Patriot League championships there. 2-time regional All-American. She is in her 5th year as an assistant with the program. And, of course, a local player, as we mentioned, graduate of Allen High School. Stephanie Howell is in her 2nd year, a 2002 graduate of Lehigh. Coach Troyan introduced me to her as the best pitching coach on the East Coast. I said, you're not going to get an argument here with the 3 top pitchers in the Patriot League. But again, a terrific performer in her own right as a player at Lehigh University and now coming back as the pitching coach. Interesting, she spent a little time her 1 season as the head JV coach over at Nazareth as well.
And you mentioned Kim Miller and Steph Howell and the job they've done among Lehigh's all-time leaders in several categories, batting and pitching respectively, and they've done the job at Lehigh and now obviously have gone on to helping teach this generation of Mountain Hawks.
Absolutely. Dave Bender and Liz Grip, a student, a graduate assistant, rounding out the coaching staff for the Mountain Hawks. So they have a great deal of experience there on the bench.
Dave's daughter, Jenny, one of the best pitchers Lehigh's ever had, and Liz Grip graduated last year, was the starting first baseman. When you talk about student athletes at Lehigh, well, Liz Grip was here before, but she already had to leave. She had to go to a class she has tonight.
Kelly Cleaver in a strikeout victim back in the first. Shannon Williams in there, and the Mountain Hawks, I think it's pretty safe to say, with their backs against the wall against a pitcher the caliber of Shannon Williams. Foul back and out of play. Williams quickly out in front, 0-2.
Well, maybe in a situation like this, Mike, against a pitcher as great as Williams, you start to stretch a little bit and you start to press a little bit at the plate, and you see Cleaver here in an 0-2 hole.
Well, and if it was the other way and Ling had this 3-0 lead, I would say the same thing. I think you make a Williams or a Ling more effective when you put 3 runs up on the board.
Absolutely. You give somebody the caliber of Williams a 3-run lead, you know you've got a ton of work to do to try and get back even. Mountain Hawks have 4 at-bats left to get 3 runs. That's a pretty tall order.
Sure is. Williams with a 1.50 ERA coming in. Cleaver got a piece of that, tumbles foul. Count remains 1-2.
Williams took so much off that pitch, Mike, and Cleaver was able to almost pause her swing midway through and was able to get a piece of it and foul it back. That was a great pitch from Williams, and give Cleaver some credit for fighting it off and surviving to see another one. Watch the change of pace on this. Look at that. Look how long it took to get up there.
And when you're used to that heater coming at you for time in and time out, it becomes even more effective, that off-speed pitch. And I'm sure that's one that Williams has developed and worked on in her career now at Villanova. Hard to believe she's in her senior year. And you see it firsthand even better than we do. 4-year careers go awful fast.
They sure do. When you go ask Emily Ling or Jess Young or Kelly Cleaver if they remember their freshman year when they were first starting out. I tell you, it seems like yesterday.
That's right.
Or maybe last week.
Basketball the same, of course. Fran Troyan, the husband to Sue Troyan, head basketball coach, losing some terrific seniors from that program this year.
Yeah, we had 5 of them.
Jess DiPaolo, the first time a Lehigh player gained Player of the Year honors, deservedly so. What a warrior, what a battler. But that's part of college sports, high school sports. You know, every 4 or 5 years you get that turnover, and those kind of players have to be replaced. I don't think you replace them. You hope that you continue the trend that Sue Troyan has started there. This one solidly hit and will get past Martin in left field. Cleaver around first and in with a stand-up double.
Well, that was a great at-bat by Kelly Cleaver, Mike. She was down 0-2, as we saw, and fought off a couple of pitches, got what she needed, and watch her pull this one down the line for a double. And the Mountain Hawks, as you know, you can't get 3 runs back with a leadoff batter up, but you got to start somewhere by getting base runners, and the Mountain Hawks do just that.
Mountain Hawks with 59 extra base hits coming into this game, 47 of them doubles. They are a very good 2-base hit team, the 48th double of the year.
And Kelly Cleaver, who just doubled there, her team-leading 10th of the season, they're going to pinch run for her and bring Megan Conrad on to run at second base. And now Mary Weeder, a chance to maybe drive Conrad in.
Make a good point, Jeff. You can't get 3 runs back with 1 swing of the bat. Mountain Hawks need to just chip away. Weeder, a good opportunity here against her former high school teammate. Weeder did get a single back in the second. Tugs this one foul and out of play. I mentioned that fence over there. You see Kohler actually ran in to that first segment that time. That is a tough area over there for any first baseman. You're looking up and anticipating that one fence that's about a yard back from the other one, and all of a sudden you're a little offline. You run into that first one. That's what happened to Kohler. Weeder late and swings through strike 2. 1-2 the count to Mary Weeder. Jessica Young waits on deck.
And you got Conrad, who's pinch running at second base with terrific speed, a freshman from Kutztown.
The 1-2. Low, and a nice job by Cassie Koenig. The catcher for Villanova. 41st game of the year for Villanova, 33rd for the Mountain Hawks. Two from Williams. Hitting off the fist and going back to shortstop. Donnelly got leather on it, but couldn't make the play.
Well, Conrad, of course, had to hold up at second base just in case that ball was caught. And a play that Donnelly probably should have made if she was going back, but still, that one was in and out of her glove, and now Lehigh has 2 on and nobody out.
That's a break for the Mountain Hawks as Fran Troyan now out to talk to Jessica Young. The infielders come in to join, or the base runners, excuse me, come in to join in the conversation. And the Mountain Hawks have 2 on and nobody out for Jess Young. Nearby Center Valley.
Number 10, second baseman, Jessica Young.
One of Lehigh's senior captains. driven in 19 runs. It's second on the team. She got a couple of runners on here.
Takes called strike one. Fourth in the Patriot League. She's scored 21 times. This one hit up in the air and out of play. Young with a couple of triples on the year. Second team All-Patriot League performer in 2004. 1-1 from Shannon Williams. High out of the strike zone. Lehigh trailing 3-0 in the home fourth.
Second team All-Patriot League a season ago, has had a terrific first 3+ years at Lehigh. Good at bat here.
Williams just missing inside. Count even at 2-2. Here was the previous pitch. Young tugs this one foul and out of play. Game time temperature about 56 degrees. Very comfortable afternoon. I gave you that extra 1 degree.
Thank you.
I'm with you.
Thank you.
Well, it is 55 right now.
Well, now it was 56 at
Well,
game time.
I said game time. I said game time. Sure, we lost one. Robert Reitnauer, our stat guy, pulling up all of the stats on the computer right next to us.
Young continues to battle Mike here at the plate. Nobody out. Lehigh trying to scratch and claw and get some of these runs back.
Making Williams throw a lot of pitches.
It's really the first time we've seen her labor out there.
The 2-2. Misses wide, count full. Oh, this is a big pitch coming up in this game. Whitney Schenbeck waits on deck for Lehigh. Payoff pitch. Young will get a look at another.
Another big opportunity here for Lehigh.
Williams delivers. Young hangs in there.
Great at bat.
Mountain Hawks have had a couple of those.
Yeah.
Trailing in the game 3-0. Have 2 on, nobody out. Here in the bottom of the fourth. Hit on the ground to the left side, and they're loaded up for Lehigh. Donnelly over there appeared to have a shot at it. That should be ruled a single for Young. Cleaver moving up to third. Weeder on at second.
Well, let's see if Donnelly had an opportunity to get to this ball. She was right on it, and a good effort. But again, even if she feels that, I don't know what she's going to do with that throw. Conrad was already at third base.
Right. The only play would have been to third, and Conrad, you're right, was indeed in there already. So loaded up right now. Nobody on for Whitney Schenbeck.
Fielder, Whitney Schenbeck.
Table is set. Schenbeck, the number 7 hitter in the Lehigh lineup. Team down 3-0. Williams, first pitch, fouled for strike 1. Schenbeck, a sophomore, takes a called strike. Beautiful pitch by Williams on the outside corner.
Well, just because the bases are loaded and nobody out doesn't mean that Williams is going to give in. She's not. And hits the corner beautifully.
Quickly out in front, 0-2. Just hanging in there is Schenbeck. Mountain Hawks have battled at the plate against Shannon Williams, particularly in this inning, as you mentioned, Jeff. And the result is they have been able to load them up. Still looking for their first run of the game. And Williams gets a big strikeout, her 6th of the game.
Yeah, and that's the second time she's gotten Schenbeck. Whitney frozen on that pitch. And that's the first out of the inning. And now if you're Villanova, a double play will get you out of it. Watch this 0-2 offering. Schenbeck couldn't move the bat.
Lauren Haney popped up to third back in the second inning in her only plate appearance.
Getting some words of encouragement from Kim Miller.
They would be good words of encouragement. What, a 450 career batter? That's unbelievable. That is an unbelievable number. Bat 450 in your career.
Well, it was only 421.
I'm sorry.
Goodness.
I was off
Mike.
a little bit.
That's terrible then.
I knew I couldn't have been 450. 421 career average. That's awesome.
Yeah, over a 4-year span. That's absolutely amazing.
At this level.
Lehigh's all-time leader in home runs, triples. She's second in doubles. All-time leader in runs batted in and runs scored. Some worthy advice, I would say.
Yes, I'll say. Haney in there now, loaded up with 1 out. Williams gets that cutter in on the inside corner of the plate for strike 1. She has made some marvelous pitches here for the last couple of batters. Still not out of the jam. Calls for and gets a timeout.
Mountain Hawks have got to take advantage of this opportunity. Not too often you'll have the bases loaded, nobody out against the likes of a Shannon Williams.
Oh, 1 from Williams. Looks like the same spot, and it is. Big East leader in strikeouts.
So the 6 she has so far today aren't going to hurt her total.
No.
Trying to get a 7th here.
0-2. Hit in the air to left field. Martin giving way. This will be plenty deep enough. Tagging from third and scoring. Going into third base and save some aggressive base running by the Mountain Hawks. So they get a run and advance the runners, the potential tying run now at second base.
Yeah, all 3 runners able to move up. As you said, Mike, as soon as Haney hit that ball, you knew that was going to play to run. And give Villanova credit. They wisely threw the ball down to third, as you see there trying to get Weeder, but she just slid in to beat the tag. And on the play, Young to second, so now second and third. A hit could tie the game.
Shortstop Mendy Martin, strikeout victim in the third. Weeder on at second, Weeder's at third, Young is at second. And Williams gets strike 1. 2 down now.
Martin, a terrific defensive shortstop, one of the better ones you'll see at this level.
Shannon misses high. Lehigh getting a run here. 2 base hits. Was an error against Villanova in the inning. And Williams just rears back and fires it past Martin. 1-2 the count. Off-speed pitch misses up top.
If Williams gets out of this, Mike, with allowing just 1 run, that's an impressive performance.
Williams making her 21st start of the year. She has completed 8 of the previous 20, and swinging and missing is Martin. 7th strikeout of the game for Williams, but the Mountain Hawks get 1. They do it on 2 base hits. They leave 2 after 4 full. 3-1 Villanova. 6-0 for Lehigh. Game number 2 of this NCAA college softball doubleheader will air tonight on Service Electric Cable Television. Airtime 10 o'clock. You're watching this one live as you get a look at head coach Maria DiBernardi in her 20th season. And as we talked earlier, over the last 6 years, they have averaged 39 wins per year. Last year, they were 34, 15, and 1, losing to Notre Dame in the championship. 3-2 in the Big East. Carrie Kohler to be followed by Cassie Koenig and Allie Wisniewski. The meat of the order for the Wildcats, leading 3-1. Kohler lofted in the air and just over that fence that has been getting a lot of attention in our conversation.
I'm just making sure the Villanova players are alert on the first base bench.
They are. Kohler has a single and 2 plate appearances. Reached base both times, walking in the third.
Ling continues to battle out there, Mike. She's allowed 6 hits through the first 4 innings.
And again, I think the notable thing that I've noticed, just struggling with and just not being able to hit her targets throughout most of this afternoon.
Well, no strikeouts. You don't see that too often.
In the air to center, coming on and getting a good jump on that was Marvel. She showed some of that quickness you were talking about, Jeff. Out number 1, and it'll bring up Cassie Koenig.
Well, she did have a good jump on that one. You're right, Mike, but with the speed of the likes of Marvel, even if she didn't have a good jump, you might not ever know it because she's going to get over there anyway. It's terrific, terrific speed, but you see she had it played pretty well, got a good jump, and was able to easily make the play in right center.
1 down now. Koenig. She also flied out to center back in the 3rd inning. Grounded out into a force out to end the 1st inning. Cassie, the starting catcher. Ling missing inside, count even at 1-1.
Playing quality teams like Villanova, the intent is to get Lehigh more prepared for the grueling Patriot League schedule, and it's apparently done that. Obviously, the Mountain Hawks are 12-0 in the league, but certainly everything's a dogfight, and the 2 series they have remaining are against probably the 2 toughest teams that Lehigh will face in the league when they take on Colgate on the road this weekend and then Army at home next weekend. Villanova, the 3rd Big East team the Mountain Hawks have played this year.
And the Wildcats as well will now get into the meat of their schedule as well. They have only played 6 games in Big East competition. 2 and 4 to this point. I think that has to be somewhat disappointing. They are certainly trying to gain some momentum here this afternoon and try and get on a nice roll. A playoff team a year ago. Hit on the ground to the right side. Right in position is Young, who flips over to Hanley for out number 2.
I thought she might have caught that in the air.
She may have just tossed it over to...
Just to be sure.
Yep.
Right on her shoe tops.
Number 22, right fielder, Allie Wisniewski.
Get a good look at Taryn Hanley, the freshman first baseman.
Allie Wisniewski, she scored the game's first run, or excuse me, their first run in the 4th. She is 2 for 2. And among the leaders in Big East batting.
Definitely one of those people you're happy to have at bat with nobody on base.
Swings and misses behind in the count 0-2. Ling misses high. Still looking for her first strikeout of this game. And she's got it.
That's a nice time for it.
First one of the game for Emily Ling. 3 up and 3 down. First time in this game Ling has been able to get the Wildcats in order.
It's actually the first time either team has gone down in order. And against two pitchers as powerful and successful as Williams and Ling, it's kind of a surprise maybe that it took to the top of the 5th to see a 1-2-3 inning from either side.
Well, Jeff, we talked about the caliber of play locally here with, our high school teams, and while it is very good, usually more often than not dominated by pitchers, but obviously as you get on into this area or this level of competition in softball, the caliber gets better. You get better hitters, from top to bottom. In Williams' high school career, probably pitched against teams that maybe had 2, maybe 3 hitters, and if you worked your way around it, you will wind up getting a shutout. But here, when you get to college, you're going to run up against 8, 9 players that can handle the batter, at least find a way to get on, and we've seen that here. Both teams have really battled at the plate.
The Mountain Hawks will enter this bottom of the 5th, Mike, down by a couple, but they'll have the top of the order, and Lehigh made some adjustments, and obviously, as we saw, had some more success the second time through the order than they did the first. Now that we go for the third go-round, you see, interesting to see if Lehigh can battle all the way back.
Started this game for Lehigh with a single and popped up the third, back in the 3rd inning. She leads it off here in the 5th with her team down 2.
Look at that target.
And that's running swing, and that is a tough play, and unable to get back there was Donnelly. I don't know that anybody felt that they could get there. That's a tough call. I don't know what to say there. They had 3 players in possession. Donnelly there just couldn't hang on.
I guess you have to give Donnelly an error. Let's take a look at the replay. A tough play, not coming from behind. That probably shouldn't have been her play. That probably should have been called off, but I guess you got to give her the error.
Yep. Yeah, I really think all the way. That's your center fielder's call to come in there, obviously coming in and attacking. Over-the-shoulder catches are tough, and Kruger coming in there from center field obviously didn't there to warrant calling her off.
Now you got Weggard, another one with excellent speed at the plate, and Marvel is blazingly fast on the bases.
Second error of the game against Villanova. Mentioned at the top that, little things that they might not been able to do. That's, when you're ahead 3-1, the last thing you want to do is give an opposing team extra outs. And in essence, that's what an error does. Villanova came into this game having committed 38 errors. They have turned just 2 double plays on the year.
Well, I'd be very surprised if they turn one with this combination at bat and on the bases right now.
That's for sure. Weggart goes down on strikes.
Well, maybe you don't need a double play when you have Williams pitching.
Her 8th of the game.
Weggart kind of the running start once again and just a little bit out in front. And Williams, again with that change of pace, has kept Lehigh hitters off balance all day.
Hanley steps in looking for her first hit of the game, 0 for 2. Strikeout victim back in the 1st. Called strike. Williams, conversely to Ling, has, for the most part of this game, moved to hit her spots, hit her nice job of finding that outside corner. Off-speed pitch misses wide. Marvel aboard at first via the error. Swing and a miss, strike 2. 1-2 the count. Cleaver, who doubled and scored a run in her last at bat, waits on deck for Lehigh. Swing and a miss as Williams racks up back-to-back and now has 9 for the game.
That was a big pitch. Henley taking a big cut and coming up empty.
Kelly Cleaver.
That was nasty.
And perhaps out of the strike zone, too, which makes it even maybe more unhittable. You need quick reactions to play this sport. The balls, you know, those fastballs are in a hurry. One and oh the count to Kelly Cleaver. 1 for 2 in the game. She struck out looking to end the first. And takes a called strike to even the count at 1-1.
Yeah, but she rebounded to get that big double that got Lehigh going to start the fourth inning. Eventually, Conrad, who pinch ran for her, came around to score.
Scoreboard a little late with their numbers up there. Count right now 3-1.
They got the score in the inning right.
Oh, what an off-speed pitch. Absolutely froze Cleaver. Full at 3-2. Yeah, that big motion, that big windup, and then kind of just squirt one in there past the batter. 3-2, runner will be off with a pitch with 2 down. And we'll do it again. Play.
We were able to fight that one off.
More baseball to come for our viewers this week, Friday night. Lehigh Valley Conference Baseball, Liberty and Freedom, live at 7 o'clock. Swing and a miss as Williams comes back to strike out the side. She is in double digits with 10. Marvel reached base via an error, but then Williams KO'd Wagert, Hanley, and Cleaver. Villanova, as we welcome you back here. The wins for Villanova in league play coming against UConn. First game of a doubleheader played on Saturday the 9th. They also knocked off Providence 4-1 in the first game of a Sunday doubleheader. That was this past Sunday, the 10th. Lost a doubleheader to preseason favored Notre Dame and defending champs 4-0 and 2-0 in punt attempt. And good defensive reaction by the Mountain Hawks to get Sherry Donnelly.
Well, that was a terrific play because, as you said, it was kind of a swinging bunt. Watch Ling get out of the circle quickly with the reaction. Jess Young, the second baseman, covering first, takes the throw. And Lehigh gets the leadoff batter in the top half of inning number 6. Since Villanova had the bases loaded, Mike, that's 7 in a row set down by Ling.
Lindsey Martin steps in.
Lehigh playing at Patriots Park for the second time this year. They're 0-1 after having lost to Syracuse.
We used to play the Patriot League tournament here.
That's right. Till each of the last 2 years, they moved it to the home field of the highest seed, which, of course, in the last 2 years has been Lehigh.
Right? Well, they're the standard in the Patriot League. They've won the last 6 regular season. tournament champions a season ago. Ling was looking to set down her 8th consecutive, behind in the count now 2-0. 3-0.
It's a rare walk.
Martin, a one-out base runner for Lisa Curran.
Number 19.
Curran, a big single and an RBI back in the 4th. Part of that 2-run rally. Curran takes ball 1.
Activity in the Villanova bullpen down the right field line. It may just be their Game 2 starter warming up.
Smoked but tugged foul. Boy, Curran got a lot of that one, but out in front. And it's a long strike. 1-1 the count.
Yeah. Guess she was correct in her guess on that pitch, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's Kristen Haynes warming up, by the way, and she started the other 20 games that Williams didn't start. So you talk about having 2 starters that you go to. They each had 20 starts entering this one. So Haynes presumably will start Game 2.
Well, you get this Villanova program or team that is still going to have their say in the Big East. As I mentioned, they've played just 6 games so far and have Notre Dame among those 2 of them there. So, you know, they'll run the season through that schedule, and you just get the sense that, you know, they'll get it right. They'll get back together. And, Jeff, you talked about early the non-league schedule as the runner-off, and it'll be a stolen base for Lindsey Martin. Martin down to second with 1 out.
Got a great jump, and Weeder came up throwing, but the pitch was low and outside, and Weeder's throw just a little bit off the second base side of the bag.
Tough pitch to handle for Weeder. Two-two, and a good pitch by Ling. She has her second strikeout of the game, second out of this inning. Brings up the number 9 hitter, Jackie Dempsey.
Number 12, Jackie Dempsey.
Good pitch by Ling. Dempsey from the left side with 2 down. Takes ball 1.
It's a pretty productive 9-hitter when you get a single, and then when you make it out, you're still driving in a run.
Hits it on the ground to the right side. May have driven in another. Around third, the play at the plate, not in time. A big insurance run for the Wildcats. Lindsey Martin around second to score as Dempsey picked.
Well, Martin got a pretty good jump, and you see the single into short right field, and Weggert, the lefty, comes up gun into the plate, but not in time.
Boy, just at a time where Emily Ling seemed to have restored order. As you mentioned, she had retired 8 in a row, but the walk comes back to hurt her. Martin able to steal second and then scoring on the single by Jackie Dempsey. Just had that sense in the game that Lehigh may have been gaining some momentum, gaining a little stride. That's a big run scored by the visiting Wildcats, upping the lead to 4-1 here in the top of the 6th. Ling misses high, 2-0 to Lisa Kruger. Kruger 0 for 3 in the leadoff spot. Runner goes. Weeder's throw not in time.
Well, Lehigh doesn't allow too many stolen bases, but that's 2 here in the inning now for Villanova. See, the throw was a little bit off and escaped from Martin, but she had it beat anyway.
21 of 30 in their stolen base attempts on the year for Villanova. They have had success here in this inning. That's their second. And they count 3-0 to Kruger. And she will draw a free pass. That'll bring up Chrissy Yauch.
Number 10, third baseman, Chrissy Yauch.
Yauch 0 for 3, grounded out to short on 2 occasions and fouled out in the third. Jeff, it has been the middle to the bottom part of the order that has really been the problem for Emily Ling. This is the real first danger she's had with the top of the order. But starting with Allie Wisniewski, their number 5 hitter, that's where all their run support has come, their RBIs.
Absolutely. You got to give Villanova credit for getting it done at the bottom of the order. You take runs any way you can get them, and they got 4 on the board to this point.
And here's a hit, or looks like going to be a hit, and it is, around third. Wildcats have added another RBI single for Chrissy Yauch.
Well, Yauch with a good job there, just lofting that one into very short right. And again, Wegler came up with it quickly, but Dempsey was running from second base to begin with and was able to round third and score without a throw.
Wildcats a .237 team batting average. Their bats have come alive this afternoon in game number 1 against Lehigh. Ball 1 the count to Carrie Kohler.
Well, you know, it's interesting, Mike. Since Patriot League play began on March 26th, Lehigh's only played 3 games against non-league opponents. Now, to be fair, they're terrific opponents in Syracuse, Princeton, but they're 0-3.
Called strike to even the count at 1-1. Yauch's RBI, her 7th of the season, so a number of Villanova batters. Well, I would put in a category of perhaps coming into this one struggling a little bit, down in the, 210, 220 batting averages, not a lot of RBIs. A number of them have done good things. Jackie Dempsey, Veronica Alvarez, you mentioned. Lisa Curran has a single and an RBI in this game. Lindsey Martin out of the number 7 spot has a single and has reached base all 3 times this afternoon. Carrie Kohler's been on twice here at the plate with a single in the first. She walked in the third.
Another 3-ball count for Ling.
She's had a lot of those today. Off the end of the bat to second base, and Young there for the out. Wildcats get 2 more on 2 base hits. They strand 2, pick up 2 big runs here as we move to the bottom of the 6th, and now the lead at 4, 5-1.
Well, Mike, as you said, it seemed like Lehigh had started to gather momentum, and over the last 2 innings, they got in a couple hits, they got in a run, and so on. But at the same time, Villanova responds. They put 2 more on the board here in the top of the 6th. They not only get their lead back to where it was, they even add a run. And now with their biggest lead of the afternoon, a 4-run cushion heading to the bottom of the 6th inning.
Just tuning in, you're watching NCAA College softball live in the Lehigh Valley on Service Electric Cable Television. Mike Zambelli joined by Jeff Turiel, Sports Information Director at Lehigh University. And a busy time for you and the staff. I know you had a lot of baseball and softball at home over the weekend, but then you're also involved with the celebrations of some successful winter sports then as well. You had basketball banquets and busy time of the year for you guys.
Yeah, it's to say the least, Mike, and it's always an exciting time as you get a look at Villanova making a pitching change as we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. But it's a situation for us where, we love it. We had 7 home games on Saturday, but you wouldn't want to have it any other way. At times you feel a little short-handed, but it's a terrific opportunity. And, the weather this weekend was absolutely perfect. You had baseball, softball. Men's tennis team was at home on Saturday. Men's and women's lacrosse were home on Saturday, and they're both faring well of late, have a chance to make the Patriot League tournament, so it's pretty exciting. Of course, the women's lacrosse team back in action after tomorrow's game. They'll be in action Saturday at home against Bucknell, and we'll have that one for you right here on 2 Sports.
We'll get an opportunity to see them coming up, as well as you get a look at Kat Walsh, warming up now for Villanova, a 1.97 ERA, making her 21st appearance of the season. She leads the team in saves with 4, and that is her job right now. So the book is closed on Emmaus grad Shannon Williams, who goes 5 innings, allowed 5 hits, 1 run, while striking out 10.
Not a bad effort.
She stands to win this one, which would be her 14th of the season. And Kat Walsh now will face Mary Weeder, Jessica Young, to be followed by Whitney Schenbeck, due up here in the bottom of the 6th.
Weeder 1 for 2, but she's been on base twice, Mike, reaching on an error in addition to a single. Doing everything she can to help her team.
One hopper to the first baseman Kohler, who puts it away unassisted. 1 down now for Jessica Young. Kat Walsh is a freshman from Los Angeles, California. Also will play third base for Villanova. And she has been a good addition to this pitching staff. Of course, you have Williams as a starter. We're going to see their other ace in game number 2, I would assume. And then you have a closer like Walsh. That's and similar to what Lehigh is going to in terms of their pitching as well.
Well, in the game of softball, you don't need a lot of pitchers, especially if you have good ones, and Villanova has just that.
Hit sharply and will fall in for a single for Jessica Young, her 2nd hit of this game.
Boy, Lehigh offense over the last couple innings giving Sherry Donnelly, the Villanova shortstop, a workout. A lot of tough plays to try and make, and Donnelly comes over just past their outstretched arm into left field for a single.
Number 6, left
And now it's Schenbeck up with a runner aboard.
Ball 1 to count to Schenbeck. Hit on the ground. That's a fair ball. That is a fair ball off the glove of Yauch. Safely into third is Young, and the Mountain Hawks with a rally here in the bottom of the 6th.
Sometimes all it takes is something like a pitching change to get things going, and that's not to take anything away from Walsh and the job she can do. As you get a look at Schenbeck's high chopper that will go fair down the third base side, but it's a situation where just psychologically for Lehigh, it's like, hey, Williams is out of the game. This pitcher cannot be any better than she was against us today. We got new life. Let's take advantage of it.
Well, they've put runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 down. That'll bring up Lauren Haney. Haney has an RBI in this game.
Number 23, designated player, Lauren Haney.
Sacrifice fly in the 4th. Driving in Megan Conrad, who was the pinch runner for Kelly Cleaver.
Well, you know, Lehigh's down 4 runs, but you got a couple in scoring position here.
The 0-1 pitch. Good reaction by Koenig. Not an easy thing to do to get out of that spear one that's coming in at that speed that's off the mark. Checking for the signs from the bench. The 1-1 delivery from Walsh. 1-2. Young aboard at 3rd. Schenbeck at 2nd. wide and high. Count even at 2-2.
Nice stretch behind the plate, preventing that one from sailing to the screen, although we saw earlier in the game Villanova try and take advantage of a wild pitch and score. Unable to do it. It's ball bounced right back.
Walsh has, as I mentioned, this one Walsh off the mound to make the play for out number 2.
And Lehigh's going to go to its bench here. Pinch hit like Julie Sterrett will bat for Mendy Martin. So after Haney pops up to the pitcher, now they're 2 outs, and Lehigh's Julie Sterrett will come up with still, of course, 2 in scoring position.
Julie has been a great story here at Lehigh. Her father, of course, is former quarterback here at Lehigh University, athletic director, in charge of the program, but she came to Lehigh and has earned her playing time. She has been a relentless worker and has been a real contributor. Leads the team in home runs and triples with 3 each, and is an off and on starter in the program. Well, good opportunity for Julie Sterrett.
Stands in from the left side, so a little bit of a different look.
Ball 1 the count. Good cut by Sterrett, but comes up empty. Oh, she got a good hack at it.
Had the right idea.
Mm-hmm. 1-1 from Cat Walsh. Just misses outside. Hawks are down to their final 4 outs. 2 runners in scoring position. They'll get 1 more at bat, down 5. Sterrett gets wood on it, or aluminum, I should say. She put it in play, but couldn't get it past the drawn in infield on the right side. 4-3, the put-out Mountain Hawks get 2 base hits. They strand both, and after 6 ball, it is Villanova 5 and Lehigh 1. Pitcher in for the Mountain Hawks is number 14, Kate Arrico. Arrico relieves Emily Ling, who goes 6 innings, allowing 5 runs, 4 earned, 8 hits. She walked 3 while striking out 2. We did not get an opportunity to see Emily Ling at her best here this afternoon, Jeff. I think that's pretty obvious.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, Mike. And the thing about Emily Ling is she'll be able to put this behind her, as frustrating as it is. She'll be able to bounce back. She could come pitch relief of game 2 if Lehigh needs her to, but the Mountain Hawks are fortunate. They have so many terrific pitchers, and here's another one in the pitcher's circle now in junior Kate Arrico.
1.57 ERA, 4-2 record, appearing in her 10th game of the year. This is her first relief appearance. She has started the first 9 times she has been in there, and greeted with a solid single to left by Ali Wisniewski, that Cassie Koenig, who has her first hit of the game.
You'll get another look at it here, coming out and is able to pull that one into left for a leadoff single. Kate Arrico, someone, Mike, who was first team All-Patriot League a season ago as a sophomore in 2004, and she was Lehigh's 3rd pitcher in terms of starts behind Emily Ling and Heather Hamasaki, who we'll likely see start game 2 here this afternoon.
Ladies and gentlemen, now entering the game as a great runner at first base from Schuylkill Haven, Pennsylvania,
Pinch runner at first base is number 14, Kayla Felty. A freshman reserve outfielder from Schuylkill Haven, went to Nativity, Pottsville Nativity High. Rico misses wide to Ali Wisniewski, who has a couple of hits in this game before striking out in the fifth. Lays off the outside pitch and ahead in the count 2-0.
Rico got to pitch in Lehigh's game at Nebraska last year in the NCAA. Pitched 2 innings of relief, relieving Emily Ling in that contest. Game that the Cornhuskers went on to win.
Hit high in the air to the left side. Retreating is the shortstop and coming on and appropriately calling off and making the play was Schenbeck. Good communication there by the Mountain Hawk defense.
Well, that's something that we saw Villanova have problems with earlier. Lehigh did it exactly the right way in that instance as Martin went back, but Schenbeck came in, had a much better angle, and Whitney Schenbeck, the left fielder, made the play.
Sherry Donnelly, the shortstop, now in for Villanova with 1 down and 1 on. Takes high, ball 1. Donnelly reached base on an error in the 4th and scored. Scored from second base. Sliced foul. Watching this live in the Lehigh Valley on a Tuesday afternoon. We will have game 2, but on a delayed basis tonight on Service Electric Cable Television. First pitch scheduled for 10 o'clock. They'll look to turn the double play. They get 1 and 2. Terrific job by Young, who dealt to Martin back to Hanley to turn the 4-6-3 double play.
Well, Mike, you talk about it. A game of softball, everything happens so fast, not a lot of time. Look how quick Young gets rid of that ball, and Martin likewise across to Hanley in time in a well-executed and much-needed double play for the Lehigh defense.
13th twin killing of the year for the Mountain Hawk infield. They had committed 33. In some trouble here, down to their final 3 outs in a 5-1 game.
One last crack, but they will have the top of the order.
Marvel, Weggert, and Hanley, number 3 hitters. Mountain Hawks second in the Patriot League with a .290 team batting average. They have scored coming into this one 134 runs, 7 home runs, 59 extra base hits, something we talked about earlier, 47 of them doubles. Kat Walsh taking her final warm-ups.
Hoping that she has an easy 1-2-3 inning and wrap this one up.
She is among the league leaders in the Big East with those 4 saves. In softball is...
Now, because you get a pitcher as dominant as someone like a Williams, they're going to go 7 innings
they go the distance. Not like Major League Baseball, that's for sure, where your starters go 7 at best, 6 at best. They can't wait to give it to those middle relief guys. Kate Marvel steps in. Singled in the first, grounded out to third in the 3rd, and reached base on an error in the 5th. Mountain Hawks need 4 to tie. 5 would win it.
Well, this is the part of the order you want up there. Somebody like Marvel, get on base. Look at that strike zone. It's almost non-existent.
Wildcats defensively pinching in at the corners. Lofted softly into the air and put away nicely by Walsh for out number 1.
Well, not the start, obviously, Lehigh wanted here today. Needing 4 runs and obviously needing base runners, but still an opportunity as Weggert comes to the plate to get something going, but it won't be easy with the likes of Walsh throwing.
Catherine Weggert steps in. She has 1 hit and 3 at-bats. Single coming in the 3rd. On the ground to the left side, Youch playing in, threw it away as it got away on Kohler. And a little sloppy there as
a little overzealous perhaps with that throw attempt. Probably had more time than she thought to get rid of it. I mean, not a lot with Weggert running, but a good throw would have gotten her, as you see, and that one was just high.
Forward
Number 15, first baseman.
via the air, and that brings up Taryn Hanley. Hanley 0 for 3 has struck out twice. Off-speed pitch and a good one for a called strike. 1-1.
That was a great pitch from Walsh, Mike.
Mountain Hawks down to their final 2 outs. They need base runners. A bat and a heck of a play there by Youch at third for out number 2. Good reaction.
Well, that one wasn't very high, so Youch did not have a lot of time, as you see, but nevertheless comes over, battles the sun, makes a nice play on the run, and then quickly turns around as if she might Weggert leading off first. She did not. But great play by Youch.